She didn't. Here's why. She didn't. She directed to you. No, it's to your account. She should have. I can't explain it. She should have done it.
Okay.
So
So
when,
this, who knows how much else? Hi guys. So anyway, can we please address this?
yes. Yeah, I think we're in the Jewish times. So it's all good. It's all good. No. We all make that joke. So,
It is what it is.
yeah. And people are still filing in, so.
A lot of people I've never seen before.
Bar mitzvah, that happens. Nope, there they are. It said, where's Kelly? There she is. All right. I was waiting for you.
You also just apologize.
I'll find her. I'll apologize. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
She's sitting next to Barbara, so behind Mark, next with in the middle of those two ladies. So, but right behind Janice.
Right behind Janice? All right, I'll figure it out. I'm looking in the wrong spot. Okay. All right, I found it. Yeah, I found it.
With the white shirt on with the black stripes.
Yeah. Janice, when should I do them? Go ahead. Hey. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hi. My name's Eddie Simon. I'm the executive director of the temple. It's nice to see everyone tonight. I was drafted to do the announcements, so I'm hoping you all enjoy your evening with us and join us for these upcoming events. First, our Tikkun Olam luncheon honoring Shelley Berkeley and Dr. Larry Lerner is this Sunday at 11 a.m. at Bella Vita. We have 120 people attending, so we have a huge crowd coming to honor them. But if you still want to attend, I know a guy that I can squeeze you in. So please, if you want to join us, come talk to me. We'll get you in. On Friday, April 28th, so next Friday night, don't come to services here. Join us for Pop-Up Shabbat. It's at the El Cortez in downtown Las Vegas. You can RSVP on our website, and it'll feature the performance of Mostly Kosher, the Jewish Disney band. So if you're a big fan of Disney, big fan of Shabbat, come join us, please. On Sunday, April 30th, we have our Starbucks class with Pam Henderson. It's at CNT at 9:30. And current Cantor ECEC preschoolers, so anyone who goes to our preschool, is invited to join us for a preschool and kindergarten roundup at 11 a.m. here at Religious School. That Sunday, April 30th. It's an open house for anybody in the preschool. Men's Club will also be hosting a barbecue that morning at CNT to honor Judge Mark Stevens and volunteers from Henderson's Veterans Treatment Court. That event is at 1 p.m., and you can RSVP directly to Jack Silas, who's right there. You can say hi to him. But please send him an email to RSVP. Monday, May 8th is our seniors program, which is Board with Board Games. Very funny title. Please RSVP on the website. And just a reminder that the Sisterhood Gift Shop is open on every Friday night, 45 minutes before services, and Sundays from 11:15 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. when Sunday school is in session. That's it for the announcements. Mazel tov to Remy and the entire Clark family on this wonderful occasion. And Remy, you're going to have to handwrite all those thank you notes, so just be ready for that. I'll turn it over to the cantor. Thank you.
Just making sure we're all logged in on our live stream. Okay.
Shabbatot temimotiena Sheva Shabbatot temimotiena. So I decided this post-Pesach to Shavuot season to count the Omer every time I was here with all of you. And so we begin with this beautiful melody, the Sfirat HaOmer, Sefirat HaOmer Nigun by Yosef Goldman. And it's one of my favorite melodies. And it talks about the Omer that we are about to count and the 7 Shabbatot that we come together to count it before Shavuot. So first, a nugget of wisdom on this day of the Omer. The cup is not half empty, nor is it half full. Rather, our cup runneth over, overflowing with possibilities. And that's from Karen Kedar. It's a really great book called Omer, if you would like to get your daily nuggets of Omer during this season. And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer hayom shisha asar yom shehem shnei shavuot u'shnei yamim lomer. And we say that this is the 15th day of the Omer in the second week. And so that is our little moment of Kavanah, our moment to count the Omer, to have a practice that brings us closer to that moment at Mount Sinai when we receive the commandments. All right, and another piece that I really love as a way to enter into Shabbat and to enter into this special day, it's called Eternity Utters a Day. It's a poem, and I'd like to share the nigun with you now. Let's try it. Yai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai. What has blown the marketplace away? There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Here's your turn. Yai-da-dai. Yai-da-dai, yai-da-dai, yai-da-dai-dai-dai, yai-da-dai, yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai, yai-da-dai, yai-da-dai, yai-da-dai-dai-dai, yai-da-dai, Doesn't that just make you want to lean into Shabbat? It's so pretty. It's by Dan Nichols. All right, well, now that we've had that little bit of a warm-up, which I certainly needed to separate the rest of the week from the sacred moment that we are about to enter into with Shabbat, so we are delighted to welcome Remy, our bat mitzvah, and her mom Allison, and if the rest of her family wants to come up too, to light the candles to bring us into Shabbat. All right, Gary and Noah, you're coming up too. Page 120. I've noticed that one of the places that I am definitely lacking as a rabbi, in the rabbi role, is giving out page numbers. I'm just not used to it, and so I'm still getting used to it. So if I don't call out a page number, feel free from the congregation to be like, she's on page 144. It's fine. Like, I won't be offended, I promise. But we are on pages 120 and 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Go ahead. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Page 124, in the middle. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block for young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. And so we welcome our Shabbat bride on page 138, verses 1, 2, and 9 tonight. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat mekabel dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 9, we rise, face the door to greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. We remain standing, page 144.
Yikada v'yikadash shemei rabba Be'alma divrach hirote v'yamlech malchute v'chayechan u'omechan u'kaye dekol beit Yisrael Ba'akala u'vitzman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevara leila me'omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach b'ar v'yitroman v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'ne'ematan da'amiran be'alma v'imeru Amen.
Page 146. good singers. Please be seated. We've got some good singers out there. You know, choir rehearsals are coming up soon for High Holidays. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitfuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmarotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla goleo or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, umavir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chaleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim.
This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quickly, on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Page 150. I don't often do this Ahavat Olam, but I'm doing this in honor of Becky Mann, Erev Cantor Becky Mann, who gave her graduate recital for cantorial school this past week. If any of you tuned in for that, it was gorgeous beyond words. And her thesis was about the legacy of Debbie Friedman of blessed memory, who changed the face of the music of not only Reform Judaism, also into other sects of Judaism. And it changed us forever. It brought so many of us to the cantorate. It brought so many song leaders to camps, and it brought Jewish music into the hearts of so many. And sometimes we know that the Misha Berach was written by Debbie Friedman, the popular one that we do almost every week. But there are so many other songs that we often take for granted, so many other prayers we often take for granted that were written, that were composed by Debbie, and she was a pioneer, as I see Becky becoming in our Reform movement as well. So Ahavat Olam is part of our liturgy, but this particular melody tonight is in honor of Becky's accomplishment and in memory of Debbie Friedman. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta, otanu limadta. בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated.
So usually we stand for Shema here, but there's a little fun fact. We didn't do anything wrong. You can be seated for Shema. It's wherever you were already. We don't want you to do any extra work. So you were already seated. I left you seated because you looked comfortable. So that's okay. You don't have to stand. The Shema is about love, whereas Baruch Hu or the Amidah, where we stand, is about showing our respect. So we stand in respect. For Ahavat Olam, for Shema, for Ve'ahavta, we show our love to God, and we can do that standing or sitting. So we continue on page 154.
Ve'afta et Adonai olecha bechol lavacha vechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi metzavecha hayom alavavecha V'shinatam levadecha bedibartam bam b'shitecha v'etecha uvleftecha v'aderech ushakbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yodecha v'achiyu latofot bein enecha Uftachtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Man tiskeru vasitem ekol mitzvotai v'yatem kadoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzetziatem meretz Mitzrayim Leolachem Elohim Ani Adonai Olechem Adonai Olechem Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is internally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together.
Page 158. Page 161.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. So as we turn to page 162 for our Vishamru prayer about the joy of keeping Shabbat, we want to call up ducking. Like, this is your favorite part, Delaney. What are you talking about? We're going to call up anyone from our religious school who wants to help with this. So you know who you are. The usuals. Meyer, what are you doing? Anybody? Someone's fine. But we also want to invite up, we have a special guest, but not really a guest, because you're really a member, you just live far away. We want to invite up Nisa for this as well. All right. Where'd Magnolia go? It's her jam. Okay. Okay. All right, who needs a microphone? All right.
Here, can I give it?
They actually really love this, guys, I promise. All right, so which one are we doing tonight? Talmud. Okay, so the Jewish choreography of this, or the Jewography, is, it's very simple. You can do it from your seats. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Okay, and there's like a part in there that you go like this, and like, what else am I missing? I don't know. Well, you just follow what we do. Okay, here we go.
The swirl.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti elam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Ki sheishet yamim Adonai et hashamayim Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Uvayom Ashim Shabbat Vayim Adon Fash Shabbat Yeshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam beritolam.
They're pretty good at that. They're pretty good. All right, we're going to stay standing for Amidah prayer for those of us up here, and then please rise in the congregation. Page 164.
Adonai Sefad שפתיו תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imloteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Lekanei Hakol, Ezoher Hatzday Avot v'Im Lahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ava, Mele'ot Sero Moshiach Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham b'tzat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rav Le'Yoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechayel Hayim Behesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umayem Emumato, Lishenei Hafa, Michamocha Baal Giverot, Umido Melech, Melech Mimit, Umachayem, Umatmian Yeshua, Ve'neman Atalat Hayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Meyayei HaKol.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We continue in silent personal prayer through page 180, using the words on the right or the left side of the page or the words within your heart. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. you're watching us on the live stream, Shabbat Shalom, we invite you at this time to submit any names of those who are in need of healing prayers into our chat on Facebook or on YouTube. If you want to follow the words, it'll be on page 371 in your Siddur. Submitted to our office for our Misha Baruch list, David Lerner, Sherry Muskin, Marilyn Goldstein, Ellen Greenspun, Jordan Ruiz, Aaron Brown, Candy Kuttner. There are any names of people that you are thinking of that weren't mentioned in that list that you'd like to include in our Misha Baruch prayers, please rise and say those names at this time. Gail Schneid, Liz Pizzo, Daphne Webster. Page 371. If you feel so moved, comfortable, put your arm around the person next to you as we pray together for all those in need of healing prayers. Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, It is with great joy that I get to call to the Bima one of my former students, a beautiful member of this congregation, Clayton Greb, one of our college students from UNR. He is going to talk about a very special trip that he went on in honor of this week having been Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and coming up Yom HaZikaron, which is Israeli Memorial Day, and then Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day, where we go from this point of sadness to the hope and the dream that is alive because we have survived and we move forward into life. And so we're really honored that Clayton has offered to share his journey with us. And without further ado.
Hello. Good Shabbos. I feel a great sense of honor and pride standing on the bima here giving the sermon tonight. For those of you that do not know my name is Clayton Greb, and I'm a college student at the University of Nevada, Reno. I was born and raised here in Vegas at the synagogues. I've always felt deeply connected to my Judaism, and I want to thank my parents for driving me to temple for all those years. Being Jewish has given me many great memories, from spending 2 summers at Camp Newman to getting bar mitzvahed on this bima, and even getting scholarships that helped me afford my higher education. I truly owe so many things in my life to simply being Jewish. Being Jewish has always been something essential in my life. I spent most of my Friday nights in high school here at CNT helping with streaming our services and Sunday mornings as a madrik in the religious school. Moving to Reno for college was a big change for me. Not only was I leaving home and my parents for the first time, but I was also leaving the Jewish community I was so accustomed to. It wasn't until my second semester that I found my new Jewish home at Chabad of UNR. I fell in love with the weekly Shabbat dinners and the sense of community. I quickly became involved, becoming president as a freshman and helping expand Jewish life at UNR to new levels. Through Chabad on campus, I saw the opportunity to go on a trip called Living Links. This was a subsidized trip to go to Poland and get a firsthand experience of what happened during the Holocaust. People asked me why I went to Poland for spring break. Why not go to Mexico and party or visit family back home? Why would you want to go on a trip to see some of the evilest places on earth? Now, I know this isn't something that your average college student would do, but I saw this as an opportunity to not only expand my own personal knowledge, but to spread what I would learn. As a subsidized trip, the trip shouldn't stay with me. It is my responsibility to share what I learned with anyone who will listen. The trip started in Warsaw after about 14 hours of air travel. We walked through the city of Warsaw and saw the atrocities that took place there. There is this heavy, invisible cloud of death looming over the whole city. This is where one of the largest ghettos was. For those unfamiliar with what that is, the ghettos were a walled-off section of the city where the Nazis forced all the Jews to live. Over 460,000 Jews were crammed into a section of the city, a little over 1 square mile. What took me back the most was the fact that the walls still stand. And even more horrifying is that there's apartments right next to the walls. People live and go about their normal lives with remnants of a horrifying history right next to them. I don't understand how people live right next to these historical sites of death. Majdanek was the first concentration camp we visited, and it is literally right in the middle of Lublin. Right in the middle. As I walked through the gates, my stomach dropped, and I instantly felt a connection with my fellow Jews who were there before me. As I looked around, I noticed houses. Houses have backyards that share a fence. This is a place where on November 3rd, 1943, 18,000 people were killed. 18,000 people in one day, in one place. And people share a fence with this place? People drive by on their way to work. This isn't in some secluded area. This is in the middle of the city. These places of death and horror have been converted into tourist attractions. Auschwitz. Auschwitz has a food court in it. A food court. A place where 1.1 million Jews lost their lives. A place where families were ripped apart. A place where entire communities perished. Has a food court in it. Walking through the city of Krakow, you see signs that read, "See how Jewish life was," using past tense, like we are not here. The temples, beautiful synagogues, charge you to walk in. They'll even charge you more if you want to use them to pray in. This once Jewish community is now used as a tourist trap. Jews do not own these buildings anymore. This is people profiting on our culture. Leaving Poland and going back to college life was a mix of emotions. What do I do as a proud Jew after seeing these atrocious sights? On the subsequent plane rides to get back to Reno, I had a lot of time to think. What I thought most about was what was our revenge. Revenge is in human nature. When someone wrongs us, we want to retaliate. But as a Jew, we are not supposed to hold grudges or seek revenge. But something so despicable overrules that, I thought. I replayed the past week over and over again through my head, and I kept coming back to a song we sang many times. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, which translates to the people of Israel are still alive. Am Yisrael Chai. This is our revenge. The fact that we, the Jewish people, are still here is our revenge. The fact that we are gathered here today in the synagogue praying together is our revenge. This is what our people were stripped of in the camps. The Nazis tried to destroy our people, our way of life, our traditions, yet they weren't able to do that, and it wasn't for lack of trying. Our revenge is being able to visit Auschwitz and walk out. People able to stand on the train tracks and sing without fear of repercussions. I walked out of Auschwitz not only with my head held high, but I felt proud to be Jewish. So now what I'm going to ask everyone here to do is one thing. One thing to help us get our revenge. What I'm going to ask is that everyone thinks of a Jewish resolution or something they can do in their life to get more connected with their Judaism. This can be something big, like going to Friday night services or driving your kids to Hebrew school on Sundays. Or it can be small. Simply acknowledging your mezuzah as you walk into your home can be enough. Just think of something you can do to be more connected to your Judaism. Now, this is a personal choice. Everyone is going to think of something that works for them. Don't try and downplay someone else's resolution, because any and all of these Jewish resolutions are huge. And we're going to start together by all joining together and singing Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 O Davinu Chai, O Davinu Chai. O Davinu, O Davinu, O Davinu Chai. O Davinu Chai. O Davinu Chai, O Davinu, O Davinu, O Davinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Thank you so much, Clayton. It sounds like a very powerful experience, one that I hope many of our young people have the opportunity to take, one that I hope to be able to take someday soon, to see the atrocities of our ancestors and to use that as a momentum to propel us into the Jewish world that we want to make, that we want to see for ourselves and for the generations that come after us. Somebody asked me, I had the privilege of going to Carson City this past week for Yom HaShoah at the governor's mansion and to do some lobbying. And someone asked me at Yom HaShoah, after I sang El Malei Rachamim for the 6 million Jews that were murdered in the Holocaust, how do you do it without crying? How do you do it? Doesn't it make you sick that this happened? How do you sing like that knowing what happened? And it's exactly what Clayton said, that Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live, and so I sing in their memory so that they did not die in vain. And that brings me the ability to stand there as a symbol of the future, the fact that hope does win, the fact that the good will always prevail. Thank you so much to Clayton for telling us about that, and we hope to hear more about the adventures of college that are not partying in Mexico. The next time you take an amazing journey or you want to share something amazing about being a leader in your Jewish community up north. We're very proud of you. And so, yeah, you can clap, sure, why not? It's always like the most hesitant clap in the synagogue. Like, are we supposed to? Okay, so we start to approach the conclusion of our service with a prayer called Aleinu, which tells us it's up to us to be the change that we want to see in the world. So we're on page 586, but we begin with this introduction. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Please rise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. V'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. We remain standing for our Kaddish prayer on page 598. Again, if you're watching on the live stream and you'd like to submit names of those who are no longer with us, who you are remembering tonight for Kaddish or Yortzeit, please put those names in the chat at this time. We remember for Kaddish Leah Kephart, Sylvia Gertzman, Herbert Muskin, Dick Hyman, Sidney Croft, Edna Anise Richardson, Paul Aisley. And the anniversary, the Yortzeit, of Jacob Adler, Richard Bale, Phoebe Brown, Leona Elliott, Irving Etkind, Julia Figotner, Ruth Friedman, Rachel Gillespie Thomas, Melvin Gordon, Natalie Gordon, Frank Greenspan, Belle Greenspun, Theodore Greenwald, Mary Hallerman, Laverne Henderson, Bernice Kay, Kurt Klein, Kenneth Leppenberger, Beatrice Lipkin, Bernie Matisow, Donald Miller, Claire Naft, Jill Otto, Stanley J. Parnas, Jack Perlman, Phil Seltzer, Penny Shear, Kate Silber, Howard Silverman, Michael Sorrell, Walter Spielman, Jean Tobman, David Wanderer. If there's anyone who is not named, please say their names. Marty Reingold, Ann Elliott, Gilly Chen, Safta Blanca, Kristen's mom and Mark's mom, Martin and Tracy Kaufner. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. O say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to which we say, amen. Please be seated. So again, want to give a big thank you to Clayton for those beautiful words. Want to thank Alex Hill for sound, Eddie, our staff for tonight and gave announcements as well, Della Costa, our shamus, Eddie Birch on piano, and our bat mitzvah, Remy Clark, who we're so proud of, who's going to be called to the Torah tomorrow morning. We're so very, very proud of her. And we want to remind all of you, I know that you had announcements in the beginning, but I have to remind you of a couple things. This Sunday is Tikkun Olam. I think we're all full now, but if you still want to get in, I'm sure there's a way to. It's going to be a really great event at 11 a.m. Next Friday, don't come here because you won't be able to get in. It's pop-up Shabbat downtown, and we want you to be there to bring all your friends and all your family. It's supposed to be a really celebratory Shabbat experience. It's really special. This year we're bringing mostly kosher, Disney's Jewish band. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have a falafel truck and some kids' activities beforehand at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock mostly kosher. Ben & Jerry's is doing an ice cream oneg for us afterward at 8 o'clock. And then if you are a young adult, you can define yourself that way. We're having a special young adult event, which the location will be disclosed. It's right around the corner at the end of the service. And there will be food and drink and fun as well for that crowd. And we encourage everybody to be there. So we'd like you to pre-register because it's good for security so we know who's coming. So there is a QR code you can use on your way out or maybe over by the oneg table that you can just scan and register yourself and your family. You can just come that day, but it's probably better. If you want to take the bus, it is $10. It'll be leaving. There's a bus leaving from CNT and a bus leaving from Temple Sinai at 5 o'clock. You have to register online in order to get a seat. There are only a few seats left. So we hope that you do that. For our, let's see, did I miss anybody? No, I got everybody, yes. Okay. For our Kiddush and our Motzi, we call forward the Clark family again. Anybody here from out of town that wants to join? How about Clayton and his immediate family? We'll say Janice and Mark if you want to come on up. And then any of our kids from the religious school who participated tonight. Okay. Our closing song, I believe, can be found on page 625 in our Siddur. And then we'll enjoy a beautiful oneg sponsored by the Clark family. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chetzo kol azai melech shemo nigra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yeh betifara ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni lehamshilo lehachbira beli reshit beli tachlit Velo ha'oz v'hamisra vehu eli v'chai goli v'tzor chavli beitzara vehu nisi umanosli menat kosi biyom ekra be'ado afkid ruchi be'et ishan ve'aira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please join us in the back for our oneg.